Hi there. Welcome to WithinLiving.com. Here, our conversations are focused on consciousness. The consciousness of who we were each created to be and who we really are at our authentic divine nature or God self. The part of us that is the very essence of life because we are one connected with the source of life. And then it's going back within us and deliberately, willfully identifying, connecting with our true divine nature or God self, and then choosing to live in the agreement, the harmony of this self that we are, our divine self of who we were created to be. So thanks again for being here. My name is Lois. I'm a teacher, a blogger, and a coach, and I'm happy that you're here. So in today's conversation, I want to pick up on not the last conversation, but the one before we were talking about consciousness. And I want to focus more today on talking about who we really are, identifying who we are at our souls, the real self of us, what I call the isness, or you might call it the existence, the very source of your existence, the very essence of life that you are, because you are life. You're life itself. Without life, you just would not be. So going back to the who we really are, understanding, identifying who we are, and then from there, connecting that to living in the consciousness of who we are. I think it is important that we first understand who we are in order to make living in the consciousness of who we are with our source an easier, smoother transition, if you will. So who are we? We discussed briefly in a previous video that we are energetic. And that is who we are. We are energy. Some might, in the scientific world, they call that energy. Well, in the religious world, they would call it the soul or the spirit. And it doesn't really matter what we call it because it's the same entity, right? And what we call it really has no bearing on it or how it functions within us. But there's only one consciousness. And that consciousness is the infinite intelligence, sustainer, creator, wisdom, of all things, all existence. There's nothing that exists outside of this one consciousness. And each of us are a tiny aspect of that consciousness. We were created in the image and the likeness of that consciousness. That consciousness is not the physical person. No. That consciousness is what we call spirit. It's also the soul. It's also infinite intelligence. Some people even call it the universe. It doesn't really matter what we call it. It is energetic. It is all intelligence. It is all energy. It is all powerful. It is all wise. It is infinite. And so that power is the power that is life. It doesn't have a life. It simply is life, and it lifes us. So it is the very life of us. So we see there that we then come out from this one consciousness, this one source of life. We can't ever be separated from it. Doesn't matter what they've told you. You think about this for your own self. You can't be separated from the source of life. Not even what is called, quote unquote, death. Death is only the decay of the physical vessel we call the body. You're not the body. Your true identity, who you are, who I am, is not the body. The body is simply the vessel. And these vessels came out of the earth. They're going to decay. And they're going to disintegrate. But the true you, the real me, you see, we're divine. We're eternal. We're a part of the eternal divine being that some of us call God. Some of us call it the source. Some of us call it the universe. Some of us call it Yeshua. Some of us call it Allah. Some of us call it Yahweh. Some of us call it the Holy Spirit. Some of us call it Christ. It doesn't matter what we call it. We're all a part of this one source, this thing called life. So when we understand that, that is our true self. That is your true self. Your true self is not the identification that you have formed with where you live, what you have, what you do, what you look like. No, those are just experiences you're having. The real you, the soul of you is having. So when we can go back and identify who we really are, that we are spirit beings having a physical human experience, then we understand that we are one with the divine source of all things. If we're one with the divine source of all things, we come out from the one. We're lifed by the one. We're sustained by the one. We're protected by the one. We're loved and adored by the one. We're abundantly supplied consistently by the one. Then we begin to realize and know and understand that we lack nothing, absolutely nothing. We have never, ever, ever been in want. We have never, ever lacked anything. We've come to life super abundantly supplied, provided for, cared for, loved, supported, protected, adored, each and every one of us. Each and every one of us have come to life. I'm trying to move around from the reflection of the sun here, so bear with me. Each and every one of us came to life complete, fully and completely complete, self-sustaining. We lack nothing. And because we are complete, when we go back and understand and identify with who we are, who we really, really are as the spirit or the soul, the true nature, then we realize that we're not dependent on anyone or anything external of self, because all things are within us, within self. Any question you might have, the answer is already within you. You could not have had the question if the answer was not already there within you in self. Any desire that you might experience having, it's not a desire of a lack of something. No, not at all. What it is that desire, that thing is already in you, in the spirit of you, in the soul of you, in the essence of you, in the God presence, if you will, of you. And it is wanting to give expression of itself in the physical form, the unique form of you, specifically you, right? Through life, to have that experience. So it's already yours. You already have it. Yours is to believe it, though. So going back to self and consciousness. When we go back to self and we understand that we truly are already one with the source of existence, we are already whole, we're already perfect, we're already complete, then we recognize that creation has already been completed. All things are already done. There's nothing that we are creating. I know some people talk about creating your life or creating your destiny or creating your desires or creating whatever. We're really not. When we understand who we are, we know we're not creating anything at all. Creation is completed. And quantum physics now actually bears the evidence of religious teaching that creation is completed. And All things are now, right here, in this moment, available to each and every one of us in the infinite field of possibilities. They are already a realization in the spirit world. So let's say you're requiring that brand new home. That home is already a reality in the spirit world. Even if it has not yet been built that you know of physically. It already exists. And the infinite of you, the soul of you, the spirit of you has already experienced it in the invisible world, the world that you're not seeing physically. It has already experienced it. If not, you can desire it. So since it has already experienced it and brought it to you as a desire, this desire is therefore now yours for you to choose, because you have the free will to choose if you have it or not. And if you choose to have it, then it's just this simple: receive it. Receive it. Believe that it is yours. It is yours to have, and that desire desires you. If not, you could not desire it, because no two things walk together unless they're in agreement. If you're desiring it, it is desiring to be experienced by you. That is the consciousness, then, that you need to shift into. The consciousness itself is God. It's the spirit. It's the invisible form and nature of you. It is formless. It is energy. It is fluid. It is infinite. So when you take the time to go back and really understand who you really are at the deeper level of your being, that you're spirit, you're divine, you're magnificent, you're eternal, you're whole, you're perfect, you're complete, you're self-sufficient, self-sustaining, infinitely loved and adored. All things are already yours. Creation is complete. Then when you go back and you begin to do the work, and yes, it is a little work, of reprogramming your thinking, your thoughts. You're going to have to change your thought patterns, your perspectives of who you previously believed you were in your identification of all that you did, have, and want to be, to who you were truly made to be. And that you are one, inseparably connected, one with the very source of your existence that sustains and supports and lives you. You're one with it. Then when you do that work to shift back into the harmonious alignment of your true self, that work is the work that has to be done in consciousness. You have to then begin to be consciously aware of your every thought. It is a dying to the old perspective of yourself and a resurrecting or awakening to your true identity. The God in you never shifted. It never moved. It never changed. It's infallible. It can't change. But we, humanity, we shift through all sorts and forms of teachings, beliefs, habits, experiences that are contrary to our true divine nature, that have become our habit. And because they became habitual to us, we accepted them and formed a belief. That belief is our free will to choose whether we consciously did it or not. And that belief then becomes the personality, if you will, by choice of the soul, us deciding who we truly want to be as the soul. That's our free will. And whatever we choose to decide to be by the soul, the God of us, the higher aspect of us, the Father of us, the Creator of us, if you will, is obligated to push that out into what we call manifestation. The reality, the realization of our life experiences. We must experience that. We must live that. We must have that experience because that is who we've chosen to become. So if we don't like what we've been experiencing, or maybe we like it bad, we know there's more. We know we can have more. We know we can be more. Then we don't change that by changing the circumstances outside of what we want to be, what we want to be, or what we want to become. We can't do that. It's like looking in the mirror. Remember, we're mirrors? Look in the mirror. And if we don't like what is reflected in the mirror, we can break the mirror all day long. We can break every mirror in the house and buy some more mirrors and break them too. The reflection will be the same because it's not the mirror that has the problem. It's what is in the mirror. So that means the self. It always starts with self. It starts and ends with self. There's nothing else. I can't change another person. There's no one to change but me. So if there's some way that someone is reacting or responding to me, the old self will find fault with that and pick that apart and get an attitude and all of that. But when I understand who I am and I understand that I am the spirit and I understand that I cannot be moved by anyone or anything external from me, that I truly am love, I am divine love, I am unconditional love, and I am not that. That's just an experience. Then if I don't like that experience, I don't try to change the person. What I do is I change the concept of me, of how I perceive myself first and foremost, and then of how I perceive that person dealing with me. And whatever I decide and become convinced that I am and that I will have, life has no obligation but to deliver that to me, no less. This is identifying the true self. And this is how we come in harmonious agreement or alignment with the consciousness of who we are. God, the source, the infinite, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, is consciousness. It is our individual consciousness of being. It is formless. It is infinite. It is energy beyond what the logical mind can comprehend. And to live in consciousness is to live in the conscious awareness that I am one with this entity. I am one with this source. This is the truth of who I am. I can never be separated from that. And to take on the image and the likeness of this that has created me. To live, to dwell, to occupy this state of being at all times. And I do that by becoming, truly becoming the master of my thoughts, the master of my emotions. Then, whatever I consciously dwell upon, which is my cause, must be projected out to me as my manifestation or life experience, which is my effect. Everything experienced outside of me is the effect of my internal cause. I caused it within me, right? I am the one creating it. We all are creating our own individual worlds and universe. There is no God above us that is dictating it be done this way, that way, or the other way. That is not true. God is, yes, pushing it out, manifesting it to bear witness to us that, yes, this is who, deep in the depths of our inner beings, our soul, our spirit, this is who we're convinced that we are, or this is what we are convinced that we have. So God, in essence, is responding to our commands. That is the decree. That is the decree. Our predominant thought and state of consciousness. Your consciousness, my consciousness, is what creates our reality or external world. So my question for you now is, what are you conscious of being? Who are you conscious of being? What life experiences are you conscious of having? Think about that. I hope this makes sense for you. I hope this is a blessing for you, especially going into a new year, to help you to understand. Go back and identify with who you really are, because you're so much more. I mean, you really, really are so much more. And if you really want to get more details on that and how to make the connection, let me invite you, go to my blog. It's at WithinLiving.com. There's tons of content there. The content is free. All my teaching is based upon my proven experience of applying spiritual or universal laws. They're the laws that govern life, all of which have been written across all the books of all religions, but I don't bring them to you from a religious perspective. But spiritual or universal laws combined with neuroscience, specifically neuroplasticity, the changing the brain to conform, and quantum physics, because quantum physics now really shows us that all this stuff that we have been taught in religion is true, but it takes it to a much deeper level. So I hope this has been a blessing for you. I really enjoyed bringing this to you today. And again, I'm happy that you're here. I'm Lois. Nice meeting up with you. And I just want to say peace. Peace to you. And remember, we're one love. We're all one love. There's one God, one source, one entity, one consciousness. We're all a part of this one love. So how about we really make an effort to experience that love for ourselves and then give that love to others. I believe if we could just shower the world with this unconditional love, maybe we can start changing things. Yes? So one love to you. And I'll have another video for you up on Sunday. And as I mentioned before, going forward, I'll post a video on Sundays for you. Would really love it if you'd go ahead and in the comment box below, you go ahead and let me have your comment. And please do subscribe. Subscribe here and join our conversation. Let's know what you think, okay? Thanks again for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.